Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So welcome again to the third day of Ramadan, and today is also the first Friday of the month of Ramadan, and we are in these special hours of the day of Friday, which the Prophet ﷺ has said, there is an hour on the day of Friday where all the dua are accepted of his slaves. So we are inshallah in one of those hours. So today I'm going to talk about another dua that is very common in the prophetic sunnah. Like yesterday, we talked about a dua that the Prophet ﷺ used very frequently in his sujood. Today, we will talk about another dua, which you will see on the screen. And this is another dua which the Prophet ﷺ used to use very frequently. And the dua goes like this. Ya Muqallibal qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. Very short dua, but very deep. This dua is from Jami at-Tirmidhi. And it has been classified as Sahih or authentic. Now, this is one of the most frequent duas of the Prophet ﷺ, and he kept coming back to it again and again. A rough translation of it is, O turner of the hearts, keep my heart steadfast on your deen. There are multiple narrations about it. The one I'm going to pick is narrated by Salama. When asked what dua the Prophet ﷺ used to make frequently, she said, this was the dua. Ya Muqallibal qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. And when she asked him, the Prophet ﷺ, why he repeated it so often, he replied, the Prophet ﷺ, O Salama, truly there is no human being except that his heart is between the two fingers of Allah. So whomsoever he wills, he makes them steadfast and firm, and whomsoever he wills, he will cause him to deviate. Allahu Akbar. Ya in the beginning of this dua is a direct call, is a vocative form, just like we talked about Allahumma yesterday. It's a direct call. You're addressing someone. And this single letter is an act of turning. You've already oriented your heart by saying Ya. Muqallib. Muqallib comes from the root word qalb, which is heart. And Muqallib is the intensive form. The one who turns and flips, that is Muqallib. Constantly, actively, at will. So we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Muqallib, the one who turns constantly, actively. Not someone who turns hearts once at creation and step back. But it's an ever-going, ongoing, ever-present action. And the root word of this is qalb. The word qalb will occur 3 times in this dua, in this beautiful dua, 3 times. This is the first instance. And we all know there are so many ahadith that talk about the importance of the heart. Where the Prophet ﷺ, for example, said, there is a piece of flesh in your body. If it is sound, the whole body is sound. And if it is corrupt, the whole body is corrupt, and it is the heart. This occurs more than 100 times in the Quran. The word qalb occurs more than 100 times in the Quran. And so the root word of qalb itself means something that is turning, changing, fluctuating. Which means the heart is never static. Pay close attention to this. Either the heart is moving closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or it is drifting away. And that is why the Prophet's frequent dua was this dua. Because he wanted Allah to turn his heart towards the deen. Ya Muqallibal qulub. Qulub is the plural form of qalb. And here you are saying not just mine, all hearts. You are the turner of all hearts. Every heart that has ever been turned. And here the Prophet ﷺ so far has just acknowledged the universal truth. The Prophet has said ﷺ that you are the turner of all hearts and no heart is exempt from its turning. Now After saying that, then he makes the dua. Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. That is the dua. He has first said the fact and now he is making dua. Thabbit means to be firm, anchored, unmoving, unchanged. It is like a tent pegged, driven deep into the ground, or a tree whose roots go deep into the ground. Even the wind cannot move it. That is thabbit. Make me firm. Hold my heart. Anchor my heart. Qalbi is my heart. And this is where the from a general, this dua now becomes a specific dua for myself. It's in the singular. Mine, my heart. Ala dinik, upon your deen, upon your religion, upon your way. Ala means upon, on top of, or steadfast on. Your path, the path that you have chosen, the path that you have revealed. So as I said, the context for this was the Prophet ﷺ used to recite it every day. He used to fear. In fact, there is another narration narrated by Anas, where he said, where the companions felt the weight of this. They asked the Prophet ﷺ, why did he make this dua so frequently? We believe in you and what you have come with, but do you fear anything for us? And he, the Prophet ﷺ, said, yes, I fear for your hearts. So this dua is not for people in spiritual crisis. This is a dua for everyone who has a heart, which means every one of us. Think about this. Think about the last time your heart felt firm and clear and certain, wanting good, avoiding harm, connected to Allah. And think about the opposite. Maybe in the middle of the salah, your mind was distracted somewhere else entirely. Maybe you knew something was wrong, but your heart wasn't troubled by the fact. It once was. The fluctuation. Now, this weakness is not unique to you or me. This is the nature of the human heart. Qalb itself comes from taqallub, which means turning and flipping. The heart was named after its own instability. So I'm going to leave with a few practical tips. The first one, say this dua at the moment you notice your heart drifting. It's a profound solution. This is a solution to an unstable heart. The moment you feel your heart getting hard, or you notice yourself being pulled towards something you know isn't right, or your prayer starts feeling empty, this is the exact moment for this dua. Say it then. Thabbit qalbi ala dinik. It's like a reset button. Second, make it your morning anchor, especially during Ramadan. Before you pick up your phone, before you speak to anyone, when you wake up, say this dua. Start the day by acknowledging that your heart is in Allah's hands and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone to hold it on His deen for that day. The third, say this in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. And in one of those last 10 nights is Laylatul Qadr. And heart in that one night can be transformed in ways more than in years. Make this dua frequently in those last 10 nights. Fourth, teach it to someone whose faith you are worried about. Remember, the Prophet ﷺ said, I fear for you, not to discourage us, but to awaken us. So if there is someone that you know in your life whose connection to the deen is slipping, don't just advise them with words, share this dua. Tell them this is the dua that the Prophet ﷺ himself said most often in his own home. So in conclusion, there is something very humbling about this dua. The man, Prophet ﷺ, who received revelation, who stood for hours in prayer until his feet swelled in tahajjud, who Allah described as being the most exalted character. This man, the Prophet ﷺ, did not take his heart for granted for a single day. He knew what we forget. Guidance is not a destination you arrive at and stay in there automatically. It is a state you return to, ask for, and renew every single day. Remember this. Your heart is between the two fingers of Allah. This is not frightening. It is awakening. It is not frightening, it is reassuring. And that is why you began this dua by Ya Muqallibal qulub. You're acknowledging. And who is holding your hands between his fingers? It's Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. Ask him to hold your heart and guide it towards the deen. May Allah SWT allow us to benefit from these reminders. And remember, this is the day of Friday. Make dua from your heart until the time of Maghrib. And of course, when you break the fast. I'll see you again tomorrow, inshallah, with another beautiful dua from the Quran and Sunnah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.